How social media is destroying parent-child relationships in America. A child sitting in the same room with their parent can now be miles away, lost inside a glowing screen, while silence grows louder than words ever did. That was the moment Daniel Harris realized something in his home had quietly broken. Not with shouting, not with rebellion, not with a dramatic argument like in movies, but with silence. A silence filled with scrolling, tapping, notifications, and glowing screens that never seemed to turn off. Chapter 1. The House That Became Quiet. In the suburban town of Springfield, Illinois, the Harris family once looked like any other American family. Daniel Harris, a 42-year-old high school history teacher, lived with his wife, Laura Harris, a part-time nurse, and their two children. Ethan Harris, 16, a once curious boy who loved basketball and science experiments. Mia Harris, 13, a bright girl who used to read novels and paint for hours. Their home used to be loud in a warm way, dinner conversations about school, weekend trips to the park, movie nights with popcorn spilling on the couch, arguments about chores that ended in laughter 5 minutes later. But that was before social media stopped being just an app. It started small. Ethan got Instagram. Mia got TikTok. Daniel and Laura didn't think much of it. Everyone has it, Ethan said. It's how kids talk now, Mia added. At first, it seemed harmless. But slowly, something shifted. Dinner conversations shrank into one-word answers. Family movie nights turned into everyone watching something different on separate screens. And eye contact became rare. Daniel noticed it first one evening. "Ethan, how was school?" he asked. "Fine," Ethan said without looking up from his phone. Laura tried too. "Mia, do you want to go to the mall this weekend?" "Maybe," she replied, scrolling. That was the first crack. Small, quiet, easy to ignore. Until it wasn't. Chapter 2. The algorithm wins. By the time winter arrived, social media had become more present in the Harris household than any family member. Ethan woke up and checked his phone before brushing his teeth. Mia fell asleep with her phone still in her hand, TikTok videos looping until the battery died. Daniel began noticing strange things. Ethan laughing alone in his room at midnight. Mia crying quietly after watching something on her phone but refusing to explain. Laura tried setting rules. No phones at the dinner table. It worked. For 2 days. On the third day, Ethan brought his phone anyway. "I'm just checking something real quick," he said. That quick lasted the entire dinner. Daniel felt something rising inside him, frustration mixed with helplessness. "It's like they're here but not here," he told Laura one night. Laura sighed. Maybe it's just a phase. But Daniel didn't believe it anymore. It didn't feel like a phase. It felt like disappearance. Chapter 3. The First Real Fight. The breaking point came on a rainy Thursday. Daniel had planned a small family dinner outing at a local diner called Miller's Cafe. It was something they used to enjoy. Mia refused to go. I have a group live on TikTok, she said. Ethan also refused. There's a stream I don't want to miss. Daniel's voice rose for the first time. A stream? You're choosing strangers on a screen over your family. Ethan snapped back. It's not strangers. It's people I actually talk to. Laura tried to calm things down, but the damage was done. Mia locked herself in her room. Ethan left the house on his bike without saying where he was going, and Daniel sat at the dining table alone, staring at 4 plates of untouched food. That night, he realized something painful. He was competing with a world that never sleeps, never stops talking, and never stops being interesting. And he was losing. Chapter 4. The Invisible Addiction. Weeks passed. The house became quieter, but not peaceful. It was the kind of quiet that feels heavy. Daniel began researching. What he found disturbed him. He learned about dopamine loops, algorithmic addiction, infinite scrolling, social validation dependency. He realized social media wasn't just fun. It was engineered attention capture. Every like, every comment, every notification, designed to pull children deeper and deeper into screens. One night, Daniel knocked on Ethan's door. Can we talk? He asked. Ethan barely looked up. About what? About you, about us. Ethan sighed. Dad, I'm busy. That word, busy, hit Daniel harder than he expected. Busy with what, he thought. Busy being somewhere else while sitting in the same house? Chapter 5. The Girl in the Screen. Mia changed the most. She stopped painting. Her sketchbooks gathered dust under her bed. Instead, she spent hours watching influencers who looked perfect, acted perfect, and lived lives that didn't seem real, but felt real to her. One night, Laura found Mia crying in her room. What's wrong, sweetheart? Mia hesitated, then whispered, I hate my face. Laura froze. What? Why would you say that? Mia showed her phone. Thousands of videos. Perfect skin, perfect bodies, perfect lives. I'll never look like them, Mia said. Laura hugged her tightly, but Mia didn't hug back. Her eyes stayed on the screen. Even while crying, that's when Laura understood something terrifying. Social media wasn't just distracting her children. It was reshaping how they saw themselves. Chapter 6. The Breaking Point. The final explosion came unexpectedly. Ethan failed a major math exam, not because he didn't understand the subject, but because he hadn't studied. He had been up until 3 a.m. watching live streams and gaming clips. Daniel confronted him. This isn't acceptable anymore. Ethan finally snapped. You don't get it. Everyone online understands me more than you do. That sentence cut deeper than anything else. Laura stepped in. Ethan, we're your parents. We love you. Ethan laughed bitterly. You love me, but you don't know me. Silence followed. A heavy, suffocating silence. Then Ethan said something that changed everything. I feel more alive online than I do here. And he walked out. That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. He kept thinking, When did we lose him? Or worse, did we ever really have him? Chapter 7. The Experiment. Daniel decided to try something drastic. No lectures, no punishments, just one weekend. A digital detox. He announced it at breakfast. No phones, no tablets, no social media for 2 days. As a family. Ethan groaned immediately. Mia looked panicked. Laura wasn't sure it would work, but Daniel was firm. We're doing this. The first hours were uncomfortable. Ethan kept reaching for his pocket instinctively. Mia paced around the house. They didn't know what to do with themselves. By the evening, something strange happened. They played a board game. At first, it felt forced. Then, unexpectedly, laughter returned. Real laughter. Not the kind typed in emojis, but the kind that fills a room. For a moment, Daniel felt hope. Maybe they weren't gone. Maybe they were just buried under noise. Chapter 8. The Return of the Screens. On Sunday night, the phones came back, and everything changed again. Notifications exploded. Messages flooded in. Ethan was pulled back into his online world instantly. Mia returned to TikTok like she had never left. The laughter from the weekend faded like it never existed. Daniel watched it happen in real time. Like watching his children drift away on a current he couldn't stop. Laura whispered, "It won't stay like this forever, right?" Daniel didn't answer, because he didn't know anymore. Chapter 9. The Truth No One Wants to Admit. Months later, Daniel stood in front of his classroom, teaching about historical revolutions. He looked at his students, every face half lit by phone screens under desks. Not just his children, everyone's children. He realized this wasn't just a Harris family problem. It was everywhere. At restaurants, in schools, in living rooms across America. Parents and children living together, but not living with each other. Social media hadn't just changed communication, it had replaced it. Chapter 10. A Fragile Hope. One evening, Ethan walked into Daniel's study. "Dad, can you help me with something?" Daniel looked up, surprised. "Of course." Ethan hesitated. "I want to cut back. I think I'm losing time." It wasn't a full change. It wasn't a miracle, but it was a beginning. Mia also started drawing again, just small sketches at first. Laura suggested family dinners without phones twice a week instead of forcing total bans. Slowly, imperfectly, things began shifting. Not back to how they were, but toward something real again. Final reflection. Social media didn't destroy the Harris family in a single moment. It did something far more dangerous. It replaced presence with attention, conversation with scrolling, connection with performance. And the hardest truth Daniel learned was this: you don't notice the damage while it's happening, only when silence becomes permanent. Closing. If this story made you think, reflect, or feel something real, then stay connected. Good luck, and don't forget to stay on this channel and subscribe for more meaningful stories like this. Because sometimes the hardest truth is not that technology is growing, but that we are slowly forgetting each other.